parking lots, reminiscent of what we saw back in the 90s at the Columbine High School massacre in Littleton, Colorado. The suspect was arrested within about an hour and 15 minutes by law enforcement just about a mile and a half away from the high school, and he has been named, according to the Associated Press, citing an unnamed federal official, as Nicholas Cruz, 18 years old, described as a former student of the high school, but not a current student. And some reports from students inside the school at the time of the shooting were that the alarm had been pulled for a regularly scheduled fire drill earlier that day, and around 2:30 p.m., that is when this suspected shooter pulled the alarm and then started shooting students as they fled the classrooms to run down the hallways. And so we do believe inside that school there are casualties that remain on the ground on what is going to be an enormous crime scene. Some of the most tear-felt moments came this afternoon when the Broward County School Superintendent Robert Rincy spoke about what he knew and what he saw at that moment. Take a listen.
Can't confirm the number at this point, but there are fatalities involved here.
Can you tell us at least how many transports? Did you know maybe a dozen?
I don't know the number that's been transported at this point, but again, there are numerous fatalities. It's a horrific situation.
Students and teachers inside the school at the time of the shooting had told law enforcement that the suspected shooter was wearing a black hat, burgundy shirt, black pants, and that is in fact the exact outfit that was being worn by the suspect handcuffed and taken into custody. That suspect, ID'd as Nicholas Cruz, 18 years old, was then taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. We don't know exactly what the extent of his injuries are, but according to students who were inside the schools, they have, of course, heard about school shootings throughout their young lives, but they said what happened here today was really unimaginable. Take a listen.
I was praying to God, thinking that He could save us all and that we could make it out alive. I called my parents and it was just all crazy, and all you could think about is, oh my God, my family, my friends, everything. You never think it would happen to you, but it does.
And as all of this was still unfolding and police officers and SWAT teams were going classroom to classroom, clearing them out, releasing the students to safety outside of the building, it was truly an unimaginable day as well for elected leaders. The governor, the president, both tweeting out comments and releasing statements expressing their grief and condolences to the families involved. Governor Rick Scott of Florida is on his way down here and should be arriving on the scene very soon here to be here in person tonight. And Senator Bill Nelson spoke with our Shepard Smith this afternoon live on the air, and one of two Florida senators, and he said basically he just seriously laments the fact that he is once again responding to yet another school shooting. Take a listen.
Our heart goes out to the families, the students, the school. They're grieving. I have already said my prayers to give them comfort, but this is a tough time.
Scott Israel, who last was appearing on national TV last year at the Fort Lauderdale
Parkland, Florida
Airport, at that horrible crime scene where the man opened fire in the baggage carousel area. He was a very on-point and on-the-scene sheriff here in Broward County, Florida, so we are expecting him here hopefully within the half hour. Again, it is Valentine's Day, and some of the students...
Oh, no, it is. I forgot. Oh, my God.
You know, we heard pop, pop, pop. We thought they were Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's Day of all days today.
By students because there were numerous Valentine's Day parties inside the high school today, and unfortunately, those turned out to be not the sounds of balloons, Brett, but the sounds of gunfire.
Yeah, Phil, the students telling the story from inside the classroom and trying to get out of that school as authorities were trying to get them out. A couple of more students.
More than 12.
They would
not give a number.
Take a listen.